Okay. Before I'm thinking about this book thing I'm doing here, and I want to bring something up before I get too much deeper into that. You'll have to put up with him. I can't stop that until we get him in a stew pot. And his partner in crime. This is kind of where doctrines come from. Let's say you've read the Bible, or maybe you've read the New Testament, or maybe just the Gospel of John or something. You heard Jesus go through his ministry. Maybe you read the book of Acts, that'd be great. There's a lot of application there. But let's just say you've done that. You read Gospel of John, and you decide to go to church. And it doesn't matter what the denomination is, because they all kind of fall into this. Let's say you just go to your typical evangelical church or Protestant thing or whatever. And you show up there on Sunday, and you get out of your car, and you're walking in. Behind you, there's a guy in a wheelchair, and he goes into the church with you. You both sit there for your hour and a half, listen, everything's good. Then you walk out, and he wheels himself out and goes home. You go home and do whatever. Then next weekend, you come out again, and here's your buddy in the wheelchair. You both end up going into the church, sit there for an hour, hour and a half, and then you both go back home or wherever you come from. And about the third week, after you've read the Gospel of John, maybe some of Acts or whatever. The third week, fourth week, you get a little more comfortable with the place, but here comes this guy in that wheelchair. And you're kind of thinking, you're new, you don't want to, maybe because I remember I did this kind of thing. Maybe I'm missing something. I don't. And, but you finally, you want to ask, maybe you do, maybe you don't. I think most people wouldn't, but you want to ask, I've been coming here for 4 weeks. I've read some of the book. I kind of get the gist of it. Aren't we supposed to do something with this guy in the wheelchair? Why is she still in a wheelchair? Now, a lot of people, a lot of Christians will have answers for that. Oh, hey, But if you just read the Bible, just part of the New Testament, you kind of get the feeling that this guy shouldn't still be in a wheelchair. We should, not me, the lowly Christian new guy or whatever, but at least that guy up on the pulpit should have some. Don't you got something for this guy in the wheelchair? I mean, I'm reading the book. Maybe you don't. Maybe it goes up above you or something. Why is this guy still in the wheelchair? Okay. Maybe say some healing thing or some, deliverance or something like that, So every denomination, every faith has had to answer this, and that's where you get doctrines. Well, that's that way because we believe this way and because of this and the other thing, and this doesn't apply to us. That was for them back then, and all this kind of stuff. But if you have no mentor before you got into some, religious organization, church building, whatever, and you just read the book, you kind of think, dude, we got to help this guy on this chair thing. This ain't supposed to. How does this work? And then you go in and they start, this is the interest. Well, because of this and that, and that's why we got the sign out front that says we're this group and not that group. And you're thinking this way or blah, this and that. And none of it really jives with the book. It's just a scramble of all kinds of stuff. I felt like, because I'm not someone who I do not hang out with a whole bunch of Christians. I go to a church or anything like that. So when I talk to people or people ask me what I'm doing, whatever the case is, they are raw. Okay, they might have opened the book and read it, but they really have had little interpreted for them. It's just them and the book. And they can be right, they can be wrong, but typically they see something closer than what they're getting from the church experience. And then, or they get questions. Hey, wait a minute. What? Whoa, kind of thing. But that's the reason I bring that up. It's not to create controversy or anything like that. This is very common. But this is where doctrines and teachings come from, is how to answer these questions in a way that keeps people on board. in my opinion. But they've all dealt with this. And you have to decide whether or not you believe that fits with if that's how the Bible can be interpreted or not. That responsibility falls back on you, which you have John 14, 50, 60, where you have prayer available and, Revelation. But I've actually had this conversation with a lot of people that were raw Christians. Let's see, it's like, what, this ain't adding up. And then someone brings them in and straightens them out, and here's how we think, and then maybe some stay, some don't. But that's where doctrines come from. That's an example of how things get changed. Well, we need to explain something or explain it away. Okay, and then if you believe in that, then you're part of our group or whatever. This is where doctrines come from. Love you. God bless.